Hello guys, in this video I'm gonna show you how to do a classic man's haircut. So we start off by taking 3 mm around the ears to make that first guideline. So as you see, I'm flicking the machine to don't get hard lines, and I'm using 3 mm here. So this haircut is gonna be a classic man's fade, so not too short on the sides and not too long. So step number 2 on this haircut is using the 4.5 mm guard on this wall machine. So the thing I'm doing right now is I'm flicking out the first line to make the fade be easier, so I don't make hard lines. And as you see, I'm using the C motion. And the next thing I'm doing is a clipper of a comb, and I'm fading in the third line and making the fade look smooth. So the next thing I'm going to do is using 1.5 mm guard on this machine, and this is to make the hairline more tight and look more sharp around the ears. So the next step you're gonna do is using the 6 mm, and this is to blend in the third line to make it more smooth and make it easier to work with your scissor. And we continue to use the 6 mm around the crown area. We don't like to go up too much because it's gonna look like an undercut. So we following the head shape, the occipital bone here. And we decide to do a taper fade to make it look more natural. So we starting by making the 0 line, and after that we are going to do a taper fade on the neck to make it look more natural. And here, as you see, I'm sharpening up around the ears. I'm using the Babyliss Pro to make it tight and sharp for a classic look. So the tapering fade starts with the open lever. So we're creating our first guideline to make it blend in. So always using open lever, which means 0.5 mm to break the first line. So the next step we do is using the 1.5 mm guide, and we start to fade out the line number 2. So we're just using the C motion, we're flicking so we don't getting hard lines. So as you see, I'm flicking the machine like a C motion, and we're blending in the taper fade with the fade. And the next step on this haircut on the taper line is using the 3 mm to break in the other line. So the rule is simple. You're using 0.5 mm, then you jump up to 1.5, and then using 3 mm. It depends on the haircut, but on this haircut we started with 3 mm on the side, so we're gonna use 3 mm as the highest guard. So as you see, I'm using the machine to make the detail work, to erase all the lines on the taper fade. What taper fade makes it looks like is like it's gonna make a soft outgrown when the hair grows, so it's gonna look very natural. And here is the view of the side of the hair. So we started with 3 mm, we go up to 4.5, and we using the final guard, which is 6 mm. And rest of the work on the side, I'm gonna use it with a scissor we're gonna use scissor over comb, and we're gonna make it shorter and tighter. You can also use 9 millimeters, but I like to use my scissors to make it more look like more natural. And as you see, I'm using the Babyliss Pro here. I'm making a good shape here around the ears to make it look tight, and I don't miss around the ears. So it's very important to make it a straight line and don't go too deep around the ears. And here I'm gonna show you how I blend in the last line. I'm using scissor over comb. I'm blending in the long hair on the top with the sides, so when it comes to the right, it's gonna look don't look bulky. So I'm cutting it down with the scissor. You can also use 9 millimeters and clipper over comb, but I prefer the classic way, scissor. And as you see here, I'm doing a pointing technique to make it look more blended, because he has really straight hair, so we want it like texturized a little bit. And here I'm going to start use my texturizing scissor or thinning scissor. Rule number 1 on this scissor is don't go into the roots, because it's gonna make short hair grow out. So I'm just blending in the lengths on this hair. And here I'm going to wet his hair to start cutting with the scissor. I always wet the hair because he has thick hair, and I'm getting better control when it's wet. And now I'm combing it the way he's gonna use it, to the right side, and I start by cutting on the back. I think in small sections and cutting it very straight. And the important thing here is to make small sections so you don't miss some hair. So small sections and control is the most important thing here, as you see. So I like to start from the back and go to the front. You can also start from the front. It's up to you. And as you see, I'm moving to the side. I think this is the best way to control yourself if you have missed some hair. So the reason why I stay on the side is to check the hair, so the balance is good. And it's really important with this haircut to not cut the crown area too short, because he has a little bit cowlick. So it's, if you're cutting it too short, it's gonna just stay up like an antenna. So don't using too much texturizing scissor, and don't cut it too short. And here is the result. I also did his beard, so as you see, it looks very faded. It's very tight around the ears, and it's a good control behind the long hair and on the short hair on the sides. So this is a classic hairstyle, and not the undercut. So this is the best way to cut a classic hairstyle. I hope you like my videos, and follow me to get more tutorials, and like and subscribe to my channel.